Hello, welcome to another episode of Thinking Aloud. My name is Paul Micarelli, and this is my son Paul Giuseppe. And the topic we're going to talk about today is love. And love is a very kind of broad topic. When I talked about mind, I talked about how our mind and our emotions are not really a solid thing. And I said also with fear, when I talked about fear, that these kind of emotional responses, they are kind of energetic pathways in our mind. They don't really exist in the outside world. And love is also an emotional response and a feeling. And that also falls into kind of that category of something that's not really tangible, but it's a real experience for us human beings. And when I was talking about fear, I talked about love as its kind of opposite, and how love and fear are the two primal responses that people have. And love or attraction and fear or repulsion are the two reactions that we have to pretty much every kind of stimulus, and all the other emotions and feelings and reactions we have kind of stem from that. And love is attraction, and love can mean so many different things. Love is kind of the most inspirational emotion of all our human feelings. It's inspired art and poetry, writing, movements, and there's so many different kinds of love. That's why when I say it's not really a tangible thing, it has so many meanings, it's so fluid. It's kind of just the label we put on a wide range of different things. And the most basic type of love is just love for another person. That, like I said, it's attraction. It's that feeling of an attractive kind of quality that you feel towards another person. And that love can take many different kind of forms. My love for my son here is a very different love than the love I have for my wife, and that love is a very different love than the love I have for my parents and my siblings. And that love is a very different love than I have for my friends and the people I care about that are close to me. And that love is very different from the love I feel for any random person that I encounter and want to treat like an equal human being. And none of these loves are better or worse or stronger than the other. I guess I could say that the love for my son and my wife and my immediate family is probably stronger attachment than the love I feel for just humanity in general. But as far as when it comes to the love between these people and kind of my immediate family, you can't say that one type of love is stronger or better than the others. And me and my wife, we've been to premarital therapy, and we've been to therapy sessions as a couple. And one of our counselors emphasized to us that our love has to stay strong even after we have a child. This is before we had Paulie here. That our love has to stay strong, and we can't put our love for our child above our love for each other. And I think that's what happens in certain relationships is people get wrapped up in being parents, and they forget to keep that love between the husband and wife, or the married couple, or the couple in a relationship strong. And me and my wife Loretta, it's very difficult. We try to do that. Our boy here is just turned 4 months old, and we try to keep that love alive, and kind of keep that gratitude for each other alive, and keep the awareness of what we mean to each other alive and strong. It's very difficult, especially when you have a little child or multiple children, and it's a real time sink and a real attention sink and emotion sink, in the sense that all that's, time and attention and emotion goes into raising a child, and it's hard to allocate those emotional, mental resources into your relationship with your spouse or your significant other. But it's something that, for the sake of your family, you should try to do. Sometimes, people change, and feelings change, and situations change, and the love you might have had for somebody changes also. And maybe that love isn't there, or it, goes a different way. And that's just, the nature of the universe. That's just change, and nothing ever stays static. And me and Loretta, we've kind of realized that the love we have now is very different than the love we had when we were just a married couple, and that love was very different from the love we had when we were just a boyfriend and girlfriend. And it's very healthy to realize that things do change, and sometimes they might seem to change for the worse, but there's this saying, nothing is, Heraclitus, the ancient Greek philosopher, nothing is permanent except change, which means that nothing stays static, nothing ever stays the same, everything is constantly in flux. So it's kind of healthy to realize that, and just understand that the love you feel for any person or group of people or anything might change over time, and that's okay. As long as you keep a healthy perspective on it, try to move forward, and do your best to deal with the circumstances that are dealt with you. And besides personal love between two people or multiple people, there is kind of universal or humanitarian love, where you feel love for the human race and other people, and that's kind of compassion. That's the mode where you just identify with your fellow man and women, and see that they're people, and they have feelings, they have situations and emotions also, and you empathize with that, and you just recognize people for the lights that they are. People, we are these lights in the world. We're spirits in these bodies that shine in our own way. Some people have trouble shining. They're bound up in the world in their own emotional turmoil, but we do have light within us. If you're alive and you're breathing, then you have that light inside of you, and that light is something that can be loved. And unfortunately, some people don't get to experience love, whether it's from their family or from the people they're close with. They haven't really been given a deep love, and sometimes you have to find that later in life. If you're not getting love from your parents or your family or your friends, sometimes that's something that you have to find later on, like again, by changing the people you're with and the people you associate with, or your circumstances, or whatever you need to do to find that love in your life that most people deep down would like to have. Everybody wants some kind of interpersonal connection. There's obviously hermits and recluses out there who really don't want to do anything with other people. I've always been kind of an introvert. It's gotten better over time, I think. Kind of going to college and living on my own, and then living my own in my early adulthood, and now with Loretta, my wife, who's very sociable. She's kind of helped open me up also. I feel much more connected to people, although I still kind of have introverted tendencies. I like time alone. I like to have quiet time. I like to be by myself sometimes. I do have just love for people, and I love to connect, and I love to just feel that interpersonal relationship with other people that is really out there if you're willing to put yourself out there and connect with other people. Then besides personal love and interpersonal love, there's kind of universal love, just the feeling of gratitude and just love for existence and love for being alive, and that idea of just looking at everything and just almost being in love with the world and saying, oh my goodness, like everything's just beautiful. Like even the things that might seem ugly, it's a process, and it leads to change, and it's the universe carrying itself out in an infinite number of ways, and that's beautiful in itself, even if it might not seem beautiful on the surface. So there's many types of love, many ways to love, and ultimately, like I said, at the very basic level, it just comes down to attraction. It comes to the feeling of you having some kind of compulsion or attraction to some kind of external thing, person, place, thing, whatever it is. And it's healthy to have love for something or some things in some way. If you don't have no love in your life at all for anybody, then that's kind of a lonely place to be. And like I said, you kind of sometimes might have to put yourself out there or search. And the most important thing is to really love yourself. And if you can't love yourself and don't come to some deep understanding and acceptance of your own being, then it's very hard to love other people. So with that, I would like to just again emphasize my love here for my little son. He's given me a new perspective of love, what it means to really love a human being in a way that I've never experienced before. He's part of me and my wife. He's this little extension of us and a little creation of our love, and we both look at him every day just in awe, and watching him grow is just an amazing thing, and we just love him to death, and we'll always love him. And hopefully one day I can express that to him. He feels it now, I believe. He's starting to be aware of the love that me and my wife are giving him, and we can see the smile on his face when we're around, and that's the beginning of love, is that happiness you feel when you're around somebody else. So I hope everybody out there, like I said, has some kind of love in their life, and has something that they can look at in their life and say that they truly love. And I do feel love for all of you out there, and anybody who's taken the time to watch this. Your time and your attention is much appreciated. And I'll end it on a quote by the great Ringo Starr that my dad, Paul Giuseppe Micarelli, loves to use, and that's peace and love, peace and love. And on that note, we'll end it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. See you later, Paulie. Love you guys. Bye-bye.